and welcome to my very first YouTube video where I'm going to take you through my sustainable nighttime skincare routine. And when I say sustainable, I mean absolutely minimal plastic. Most of the products I use are completely plastic free. I also mean natural ingredients, vegan, cruelty free, and in some cases refillable too. I also like to buy as close to home as possible to reduce travel miles, so all of the products that I'm going to show you today are made in the UK. If you found me from Instagram, you already know what I'm all about, but if you're completely new, hello, my name is Emily and I want to help you become a conscious consumer. I'm going to give you loads of tips and advice about how to combat society's over-consumerist mindset, and I research sustainable brands so that when you do need to buy something, you know exactly where to go and you don't have to do the research yourself. Every month I champion a new sustainable brand of the month so that we can really get to know them in depth, and this month has been Upcircle, which you are going to see a lot of in today's video actually, as well as lots of other great sustainable choices. This video isn't sponsored in any way, although I can give you an affiliate link to get 15% off Upcircle products, which you can find in the caption. I absolutely would never promote anything that I don't 100% believe in myself, that I haven't tried and know is effective. So let's dive in and I'll show you exactly why I love all these sustainable products. So here we are in my bathroom, and apologies for the lighting. I live in an apartment where my bathroom has no windows, but hopefully you can see that I am wearing a little bit of makeup. I don't usually wear very much, but for the sake of showing you the effectiveness of my cleanser, I am wearing foundation, a little bit of blusher, and on my eyes I'm wearing eyeliner and mascara. I should say that I have combination skin, so I get dry skin on my nose and like upper cheeks and on my forehead, and then I get more oily, spot-prone skin basically from my ears, lower cheeks, across my jaw. So that's what we're dealing with. If you have different skin, maybe take a look at the brands that I'm mentioning, because like I say, they are very sustainable brands, but pick and choose your products to suit your skin type. So let's take this makeup off and you can see maybe the spotty areas that I was talking about a minute ago. I do a double cleanse, which is where I take an oil-based cleanser to lift off all the dirt and makeup, and then I go in with a water-based cleanser to deal with the oil. So first up we have Upcircle's Facial Cleansing Balm, and you can see this gorgeous yellow colour, and it smells beautiful as well, and that is because they have used ground up apricot stones, which are a waste product from the fruit oil industry. The reason why Upcircle will forever and always be my favourite sustainable brand, probably, is that as well as being plastic free, vegan, cruelty free, made in the UK, all that good stuff, as well as all that, they actually take would-be waste products from other industries and repurpose them as ingredients for their product. So they are saving things from going to landfill and actually finding a use for them. And I just love that whole concept. If industries could talk to each other, actually communicate, get the logistics sorted, what an amazing world that would be. So this is Upcircle's cleanser. You can see that I'm just taking not very much at all, maybe a little bit more than that. You see, like, this is a little spatula that Upcircle do as well, and I swear I got this in the Upcircle pamper kit, but I just looked and I don't think they include it in their pamper kit anymore because they include some other products. And the pamper kit is essentially their sample kit, so if you want to try out Upcircle products, then that's what you want to use. So this melts instantly when it hits your body temperature, so it's so easy to rub in. I totally forgot to put my hair back, I'll do that after this. Yeah, I just rub it in all over and I do my eyes last. And this cleanser, honestly, even with heavy eye makeup, even with the like toughest, most waterproof mascara, it's going to deal with it. So you see I got a bit panda eyes, all this eye makeup smeared down the face, which is fine because I'm going to wash it away now anyway. But if you were someone who wears like really heavy eye makeup, you might want to consider taking your makeup round and taking off like the excess with just water first, so that you're not smooshing it around your face when the cleanser comes in. That's a tip right there for you. And of course I'm using reusable makeup rounds because makeup wipes are the worst. They're like one of the first things I wanted to phase out when I started thinking about living more sustainably and thinking about how much waste I was bringing into my home and stuff like that. Wet wipes, even if they say they're biodegradable, don't trust them because they are only biodegradable in certain conditions. I'm pretty sure the definition of biodegradable doesn't take into account how long it takes for things to biodegrade. So it's all a bit greenwashy really. Reusable is the way to go. Use these and put them in the laundry just like everything else. And it means I don't have to keep on rebuying. A little bit of an investment at first, but saves you money in the long term. You could use a torn up t-shirt, an old t-shirt, or any kind of flannel. I will say I don't recommend the Upcircle makeup rounds. Here's one, and I don't know whether you can see, but like I just can never get them clean again. I can get the others clean, you know, even with this foundation and stuff, I can get that clean again in the laundry, whereas Upcircle, it just doesn't. And they also get like really misshapen. And it's nice, you know, they've made them out of hemp, I think, which is a great sustainable material, but I don't know, maybe hemp isn't the best for this kind of thing. Whew, it is hard talking about things when you've got to go through all the sustainable type stuff as well as whether it's effective or not. We'll see how long this video turns out to be. Okay, moving on. Second cleanser is a solid soap bar, and this comes from Green Planet Beauty. Solid soap is the ultimate package-free product, but also they save water in the production process, because I'm just going to add the water now, just really quickly under the tap, and then we lather it up, and it creates a really, really nice lather. Look at the bubbles. So I've tried other solid bar facial cleansers, and they just don't lather up as much as this. Look. So then I'm gonna pretend I'm an orc in Lord of the Rings and give myself the white hand of Sauron. Let me know if you get that reference. But in all seriousness, I'm just gonna rub this lather into my face, clean off all the oil, get all the bubbles off the hand. I also take this bit down my neck and onto my chest because I can get spots on my chest too. You know, it's still skin, you still need to look after it. So I'll wash all that off. In terms of the effectiveness of products, I would say that soap is the game changer in terms of reducing spots on my skin. I know that I do have a couple of patches here, and that is because I'm the worst at picking spots when they do come up. I'm awful at it and I need to stop. But seriously, adding in the Aloe Vera cleansing bar from Green Planet Beauty, they do have another one which is more like moisturising. That's the best thing I've ever done for clearing up my skin. Next, we are going back to Upcircle for the toner. I know not everyone uses a toner, but this is good for balancing out your skin and reducing the oiliness again. So if you're spot prone, great idea. I know I said that the apricot cleanser smelled amazing, but this is on another level. I don't use cotton rounds or you know, reusable rounds because that actually soaks up some of the product, so you need to use more product, actually use it, and I'm all about being thrifty and saving what we have. But this smells insane. It smells like the honey that my granddad used to make, so I have a very soft spot for it. I don't know why it smells of honey, because it's made with the residual water of mandarin juice from the juicing industry, and also repurposed chamomile from chamomile tea industry. Now remember how I was saying about they repurposed would-be waste ingredients? So good. I will say that I think there are cheaper plastic-free toners on the market. I think there's one from Flawless, and also Minimal have just released a new skincare range with like a sister brand, Good Human, and I'm pretty sure I checked that toner is also a little bit cheaper. But this, like I say, it's got an emotional connection to me, so that's why I keep this. You will notice that on this toner there is a plastic spritzer at the top. Overall, Upcircle are certified plastic negative, but yeah, some of their products do include a plastic lid like this. But another amazing thing about Upcircle is they have a return and refill scheme. When I'm done with this, I will return it to Upcircle and I'll keep this plastic spray, and then when they return it to me refilled, It'll just have like a regular aluminium cap, minimizing the amount of plastic needed. You hold on to that section and then it gets returned to you. Cool, so we're getting there now. After toner, I go in on spot affected areas, a little top up with a spot gel. This is the only spot gel I have found that is plastic free. It's from the Essential Mind store, which I think is a sort of sub-brand of Little Eco Shop, except eco is spelled more like echo. They only sell wholesale, so stocked at honestlyeco.com.co.uk. And like I say, it's the only plastic free spot gel that I've been able to find. Don't know what all these sustainable skincare brands are doing, but they just never get around to doing a spot gel apparently. Finally, we moisturise. This is again from Green Planet Beauty, and you'll notice that it is not in like a branded jar. And that is because Green Planet Beauty have an excellent refill system. They don't require you to have already bought the product and have their like branded container. You can buy the refill straight from the off and put it in a container that you already have. So when you go on their shop, use the drop down list to get to their refill shop, and you'll find all the products that they sell as refills, and then when you get it, it's in this little biodegradable pouch ready for you to transfer to whatever container you wish. And of course the refill options are cheaper than if you were buying with a container. That's also true with Upcircle, but with Upcircle you have to send the container back and then wait for them to receive it, and then they give you a discount code to buy your refill, so it's a bit more of a long-winded process, which is why I always have 2 cleanser balms in rotation, because that is the product that I couldn't do without that for a whole week while it goes through the refill process. But yeah, Green Planet Beauty, just use whatever container you have, it's great. Again, I take this all the way down my neck as well. Yeah, it's still skin, it still needs to be looked after. In the mornings, I'd use a different moisturiser. I use this SPF moisturiser from Face Theory. Again, Face Theory is plastic free, made in the UK, cruelty free, and the active ingredient here for blocking UV rays, the actual sunscreen SPF element of it, is a trademarked ingredient called Tinosorb S, I'm saying that right, which is a synthetic UV blocker. However, it's a new thing and they've developed it to not be hormone disruptive and also still be safe for marine life. I believe it's still like going through testing because it's a new thing. But in the summer, I would still be cautious, and when it's more sunny and I'm actually got a chance of going in the water, I don't want to have a sunscreen on that's not good for marine life. I would use a normal moisturiser, the same one, and then I would use a separate sunscreen, and I use Shade, which I don't have with me here, but Shade is completely mineral-based sunscreen, so it's got no chemicals that can absorb into your skin and into your system, and also marine safe, so you're not going to do any harm to water life, to reefs if you go into the sea with it. Final stage of my regular routine is a new thing, and it's not a product-based thing, but I like to give my face a little massage. Yeah, like I say, this is a new thing I've learned about draining the lymphatic system in your face. Take your knuckles, one above your cheekbone and one below it. So it's supposed to reduce puffiness and be anti-aging, which is great. I'm not really bothered about that. What I am bothered about is it feels really good. Maybe it's just because you're taking the time to really look after yourself. And I will say that one thing I've learned is that skincare is a really important part of my self-care, particularly at night, doing this nighttime routine. Because I have narcolepsy, sleep hygiene is really important for me. So what I do is an alarm that goes off on my phone half an hour before bedtime, so that I can have half an hour not looking at a screen and getting all that blue light that's quite disruptive to our sleep hormones. And during that time, that's when I do this nighttime skincare routine. I chill, I do a bit of journaling in bed as well, and all of that is just like, the consistency of it is a really good signal to your brain that you're going to bed now. This is time to prepare for sleep. Just look after yourself, be kind to yourself. Cool, so that is my regular routine over. I will quickly just highlight a couple more products that I use on an occasional basis. So one of them is that sometimes I swap out the Green Planet Beauty Aloe Vera soap bar that I used for this Upcircle charcoal soap bar. I don't need to tell you more about Upcircle, but in terms of it being charcoal, so it's supposed to draw out impurities, and I do that after my period, usually when my skin is like a bit stronger and healthier and can withstand a little bit more exfoliation. Also, I have a pink clay mask from Green Planet Beauty again. Honestly, you can tell I have favourites, but this comes in the form of a powder. Don't really see that there. Again, it's about saving water in production process. And all you do is you take a teaspoon of the clay and you take half a teaspoon of water and mix that up to create your paste. The other thing I use occasionally is an overnight hydrating mask from Botanical lab, and this is just something I found in Boots. It's one of the few skincare products they have that is plastic free, still made in the UK and is vegan friendly. Yeah, and I use that usually on my period when my skin is a bit drier. So the only thing left to say is thank you for watching my video. I hope you've learned something today. Do comment if you have learned something, what your favourite bit was or what you can take away from this video for future. Like I say, this is my first ever YouTube video, but I am on Instagram at eco.friendly.finds. That's where I have been for the last couple of years, and there's a lot more content about conscious consumerism, about other sustainable brands for all aspects of your life that you might want to check out and see if any are up your street. And I will be back next month with another skincare related video because I have very kindly been gifted the entire Minimal Good Human skincare range, which I think I mentioned earlier. I haven't been gifted them by the company themselves, I've actually been gifted them by my local refill shop because the wonderful thing is that you can actually take your jars directly to a refill shop where they stock it and refill it yourself, so there's no like sending back and forth. So you know that my review will be 100% honest. It would be anyway, but so you know I'm not being influenced by Minimal themselves. And we'll see if any of these products pass the test and if I swap them in to my regular routine or not. So until next time, shop consciously and I'll see you soon.